Good day, everybody. Back in the car. Got two puppies in the car today. I got Kenzie and little Miss Trinity. I'll see if I can get a picture of both of these little monkeys. Can you see them? Can you see them? There you go. Anyway, we're on our way to the park. I have the day off because I work in a federally regulated industry, so I get Truth and Reconciliation Day off. Go figure. Or as I like to call it, Feel Bad for the Indians Day, which I think is more appropriate name for it, because the fact of the matter is, that's really what it's for, is for everybody to feel bad for how the Indians were treated, or how the Aboriginal peoples of Canada were treated. Yeah, go ahead and turn, buddy. There you go. Because it has nothing to do with either truth or reconciliation. If it had to do with truth, it wouldn't be built upon the lie that there were mass graves at residential schools or native schools. Oh, I'm gonna gun it. That resulted in churches being burnt down and people losing their minds over how poorly the Native Canadians were treated. And make no mistake, sure, yeah, Native Canadians were treated poorly by the Native school system. I'm sure there's lots of horror stories about how they were treated poorly, but what those horror stories really amount to is their culture was denied. They were forced to cut their hair. They're forced to not observe their cultures and try and assimilate into the wider sort of Christian culture that, I guess, dominated Canada at the time. Oh, the shock. Oh, the horror. See, here's the thing. Native Canadians in Canada didn't get as bad a shake as they did in the United States. That's not to say that they were treated great, but the fact of the matter is we didn't really genocide them, okay? We tried to work alongside them. We tried to work with them. We tried to basically assimilate them into our larger, more dominant culture, more advanced culture. And we ended up making concessions to them all the way along, which ultimately results in the reservation system that we have here in Canada, or the nations system, where Aboriginal peoples govern themselves and govern themselves poorly. So the truth of the matter is, natives were a conquered people. They weren't treated great, but they were treated better than a lot of other conquered peoples throughout history. The truth is, there weren't mass graves of children killed at residential schools. That was all bullshit. And if you're on the fence about that, or aren't 100% aware about that, go and watch Lawrence Southern's documentary on it. The entire narrative was BS. It was fomented by media. It was like hands up, don't shoot. It was all a bunch of nonsense meant to elicit a specific emotional response from people at large. It meant to divide people, meant to vilify people. That's all it was. There's the truth. Reconciliation is another misnomer for the day, or the observance, because nothing's been reconciled. Native Canadians have been complaining about substandard infrastructure in their communities. Bad water. Just basically poorly attended systems in place where these First Nations communities are. And while the Trudeau government, prides itself on being a friend to natives, and he was the one who put this Truth and Reconciliation observance in place, they've been screaming for ages now, hey, can we get some action on some of these issues that have been plaguing us for years? Nothing's been reconciled in terms of the Trudeau government's desire to completely undermine the development of natural resources in areas where Native Canadians would really benefit from them. There's lots of Native Canadians on record, community elders, and just basic members of the Native community saying, hey, we don't want these energy jobs basically being disappeared. We need these energy jobs, just like everybody else in Alberta needs those energy jobs. So kudos to Danielle Smith for basically using her brain and focusing on what Alberta actually needs, as opposed to what feels nice to the guilt-ridden liberals in this country. Anyway, yeah, I just I'm happy because I get the day off. Wife's got to work. I borrowed the car, dropped her off at work, borrowed the car, taking the puppies to the park, gonna go to the gym later, gonna do a couple of errands. I got a 3-day weekend so that I could feel bad about idiots. Anyway, happy Truth and Reconciliation Day, folks. Happy Feel Bad About Indians Day, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.